is Ecko Media, connecting voices. Ecko Media, connecting voices. This is Ecko Media, connecting voices.
Friday, March 13, 2026, the West Africa Youth Symposium be held na the Miata Civic Center na Freetown. The program na Youth Leadership and Africa Ownership on Energy, Health and Agriculture. The program be graced with boku big people including His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, former Vice President of Nigeria. During the program, the former Vice President of Nigeria talk say blaming of one generation na a waste of time. He say future leaders na misrepresentation as already young people dem na the leaders, and he say dem for take full responsibility for bring positive change. He advise say people for work with the government as na the government get the resources. He give example of how he step in for fight corruption and how he get the opportunity for serve and make better policies them.
Blaming another generation for your problems is a complete waste of time, because you can't change that, and you now have the problem. And look at the number of young people in Sierra Leone, 80% of the population. So anybody who says that you're leaders of the future is misrepresenting the situation. You're already the leaders. If you don't do the work now, it's not going to be done. You're already 80% of the population. So one thing that I would do is I would take responsibility. I would take responsibility for my environment. I would take responsibility for government. I will participate in everything that's going on. Civic participation is crucial. Political participation is crucial. Participation in policy formulation is crucial. And don't wait until you're called to the table. If you wait, nobody's going to pay you any attention anyway. Nobody has time. So you've got to get to the table yourself. How does that happen? One of the things that, and those who are here are probably the converted. You're already civil society people, you're civic-minded people, that's why you're here. But the vast majority of people really don't care very much. They're just waiting for leadership. They're waiting for someone to lead them. You're already doing something or the other in your own different civic spaces. But you need to expand that. And the truth of the matter is that you have to work with government. You have to work with government. And I'll give you two quick examples. So, growing up, I knew that there were certain things I wanted to do. One of those was correcting corruption and fighting corruption and those sorts of things. Another was feeding people, making sure that people were fed, and I explained how that came about. But let's take the corruption issue for instance. I was very, very concerned about corruption in our judiciary, corruption in government, and those sorts of things. And I did everything I could, but I was playing in a very small space, obviously, because a few of us. But I finally managed to get some support at the time from Ford Foundation. I was obviously in my 30s at the time, right? And Ford Foundation gave some support. We started publishing a document called Scrutiny, which was something that pointed out what problems there were, what sort of corruption was going on in different systems and all of that. But we were getting some traction, but very little traction. Corruption in the judiciary, for example, very little traction, but we were making the effort, pointing out, we think that this happened in the court of justice, something, we think that, but making progress, but very little.
Timothy Sam, the Director of Civic Education on Citizens Engagement at the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, welcome everybody wey attend the program. E say the program na civic movement, a movement where young people initiative go make civic responsibility. Director Sam say the question but who that get for own Africa next economy. He say Professor Yemi Osibojo represents good example of leadership wey don shape policies dem across Africa. Director Sam say Africa greatest resources no dey na ground but e dey na the minds of the young people dem. E make mention of the 6 pillars dem wey dey na the civic education strategy.
Today's gathering is not simply another conference or a symposium. It is a civic movement. A movement where youth leadership meets civic responsibility and where Africa's future is not discussed for young people, but with young people. The question before us today is both simple and profound. Who will own Africa's next economy? I will emphasize that. Who will own Africa's next economy? And perhaps more importantly, we can also ask, will the generation building it have the capital, the access, the institutional architecture to build it on African terms? Your Excellency, Professor Osibanjo, represents an example of African leadership and has shaped policy in the markets, opportunities across West Africa, and bringing along young people. There is a story often told about you, sir, that your engagement with young innovators, which for example, that happened in Lagos, during one of your visits to a technology incubation hub, you spent time listening to young developers who were building digital platforms with very limited resources, but enormously ambitious. One of the innovators said something very powerful, and I quote, "We may not yet have the economy, but we have the ideas that will define Africa's future." This statement captures deep truth about the continent itself, Africa. Africa's greatest resources is not beneath the ground. It is within the minds of young people.
Director Sam end with the Africa way we want. It challenge young people them. For Ecko News Brief, Marie Binkish Dumbia the report.
From Kisi Ferry Terminal na Freetown to Tagrin Ferry Terminal na Lunge, na one busy route where they see thousand people and million business pass every day. Some passenger them like for use the ferry, but now one ferry they run for now because then they make the other one. This don't make the ferry in term don't change, and beaucoup people can miss the ferry in term. We can make passenger then can go take boats. Ecko Media go waka na Kisi Ferry Terminal where na Salon United Boat Owner Association they control am. Mohamed Gatewa na the talkman and he been talk say they na professional them. Anytime where they can get crowd, then they add the boats them and then get problem for life jacket.
Anytime we get crowd, they add the boat. Normal time na first speedboat to the run. They carry the see crowd, so they add the boat to them. They manage the crowd too well. The only problem we get small at times we can look at a life jacket because no boat not left here without life jacket. So the life jackets that they get, at least we add the boat. This not a thing where we hate. I will tell you, say we hate for let we get crowd now. We will not hate them. We the boatman, they will not hate them. We like them. And we are professionals there for manage this kind of situation.
Mohamed Gatewa same way so say they always there for cross passenger them as they like them. Even say they need machine, and if they can give boat owner them soft loan, it go fine for them.
We need machine as it don't be very expensive. If somebody they will go give you soft loan, we want. We need life jackets. If we go get life jackets, them new one them, for make we add to them and them as part of social corporate responsibility in any government institution, we will be grateful.
Merike na businesswoman wey bin take boat from Lunge Tagrin ferry terminal for come na Kisi ferry terminal. E bin say e stressful. E bin same way so say let Papa government bring new ferry.
Anyway, as from your experience, it really stressful and extremeful. Especially like for me, a business person, somebody order are good for me, so I try to go reach out for them. But where I rush for can't take ferry, I find out that only one ferry will get, and it's very, very stressful to me. I have no option. I just get for take the speedboat, which is very, very risky, but no option on it. Especially to Papa government. Only try for just shipping. I don't know how best. But they will come to other ferry because it's not easy. Really, really scary. Like me, almost my heart. I feel my heart the left. Where the water they. So Papa government will beg you so that you self go just shipping and count for the ferry.
Santigi Conte bin go take speedboat na Kisi ferry terminal for go Tagrin ferry terminal na Lunge. E talk say when na one ferry dey run, people no dey travel to them.
Because since now when I one ferry they run now, we don't get a lot of constraints about that. So right now they strain too much because since we can't the way at the first for transport, till today I know unable to get it. I go in a very important patrol where I lost my mama yesterday, so now they are the try for go. But for my country, till today unable to get transported. Sure, let them make provision for we as a citizen because this container it don't really too much. Yeah, we debate for the help we follow at least not able to come up on this field.
If this area gets the right investment, the country go make millions. For Ecko News Brief, Nelson Cocker, they report.
is Ecko Media, connecting voices. Ecko Media, connecting voices.